because of some problem my business is going down. Now what is the solution, isn't it? If this is a problem, what is the solution? What could be the solution here? Because in India I'm experiencing, one disaster, right? So obviously what will be the solution for this? How many of you think of it? Let us say Manvita is giving me implement in multi regions, isn't it simple? So now, before selecting the new region, you have to think about latency again. Now, will you create 10 servers in USA? Which doesn't make any sense, isn't it? Your main user base is from India. Now you have to select Hong Kong or Singapore or Bahrain, whichever is nearest region to you. So definitely you have to select it. And out of all these things, Singapore is a very stable region or stable country, in every way. So what I'm doing, I'm suggesting my client go ahead and create 10 servers in Singapore as well. Understanding or not? So I'm creating 10 servers in Singapore. Then what will happen, guys? Even if entire region is going down, God forbid it should not happen, but let us say India region is totally going down, still I can run my business with Singapore servers. Maybe latency is little more for this server, but my business is not down. Can I say that? My business is not down. My business continuity plan. How many of you, heard about this, word here? My business is highly available. Can I say that one more terminology? So my business is highly available, high availability, isn't it, guys? Even if the entire region is going down, I can still run my business with the other region servers. But what is the point you have to remember is, if you are paying for, if you are creating 20 servers, now additional 10 servers you have to pay, isn't it? So pay for what you use. Always remember this. Yes or no? So previously you were having only 10 servers with one region, and then if that region is going down, your business is lost. You are facing the business loss. But instead of that, what you are doing? What is the solution we have given? So I'm creating 10 more servers in the nearest region, so that if one region is going down, the other region servers will be there. So you need to run both the setups always, because you never know when this server is going to, when this region is going down. Isn't it, guys? All of you? Is this clear? So have you heard about disaster recovery management or a DR site? Are you hearing about all these things in your office? So this will perform the exact same thing. Anybody's having any questions? Yeah, Harsha is also saying primary service and secondary service. But your client will come back to you, boss. Okay, whatever you're saying, it is okay, it is fine. But I need to spend a lot of money on 10 more servers, and I need to maintain my setup in a different region always. It is increasing my cost, isn't it? It is increasing my billing. Yes or no? Your client will talk about cost and billing only, right? He doesn't want to know how you are doing your business. He want to reduce the cost and billing. Now your client is coming back with this, particular question, and is asking, boss, I don't want to spend this much money. Now, can I achieve high availability within the region? Is asking. So definitely, whenever this AWS guys are creating this entire platform, they must have thought about this. So that is why what AWS has done is each region, because in future people will ask this question. What they have done is each region they have divided into at least two zones. What are they? Each region they have divided into at least two zones. But in India, we have three availability zones. What they are calling this as, guys? Within the region, they are dividing each region into availability zone. Everybody understanding what I'm saying? So the entire globe, let us say this is the entire world, they have identified how many geolocations? 20 geolocations, and they're calling them as regions, right? And within the region, to achieve high availability, what they are calling it as availability zone. They are calling it as availability zone. In India, there are three availability zones. Okay, they have divided India region into three parts. Okay, Now, for example, I'm saying this part is North India, this part is South India, and this part is Middle India, let us say. Okay. Now, where is our problem is happening in Odisha, right? Now, this is the example I've taken. In Odisha, we have, this problem. Now, tell me, Odisha is part of which, availability zone here within India? Yes, friends. Odisha is part of which availability zone here in India? Let us say Middle India, isn't it? Now, there is a problem, right, Harsha? Now, let us say is Middle India data centers are down. This availability zone for Middle India is down. So, is there any problem for your business? Just imagine that you have created four servers in North India, three servers in Middle India, three servers in South India. So, even if one availability zone is going down, you don't have to stop your business. Still, you can run your business, isn't it, friends? All of you. So, am I getting this high availability within the region or not? Yes or no? High availability within the region. So, this is the purpose of availability zone. Are understanding what I'm saying here, all of you? So, even if you are losing the third availability zone, also see here. Let us say South India, like we have seen Kerala, we have seen already seeing Hyderabad, isn't it? So maybe my data center is down for that particular problem. So still I can run my business with other four servers within the same region. I don't have to spend money in a different region. Understanding or not? So if your client is okay with this, a lot of clients will be okay with this. So then you can go for this solution. Is it an advantage or not, all of you? Yes, you can. You can Gopi. Why not? It is just a virtual machine. You can access from anywhere, isn't it? That is what is cloud is. Yes or no, Gopi? So what is the advantage of availability zones, guys? All of you. You will be achieving high availability for your business application within the region. Now, if this is okay for your client, you can go for this. Otherwise, if you want to maintain a disaster recovery location, you can go for cross region high availability where you will be using different regions. Is this clear, all of you? Any questions here? If you have any questions, please ask. So if somebody is asking you what is a region and what is an availability zone, can you answer that right now? Or do you have any questions in your head? Please ask. Don't park your questions in your head. If you have silliest question or very simple to simple question also, you can ask me. Don't worry about others and don't think about others. It is your question you have to ask. Anybody is having any questions? Is this clear? So right now we have 20 regions to use. If you are creating, if you are a customer, correct. That is correct, Harsha. So if you are a customer to AWS, now if you are creating an account with AWS, you can use 20 regions as of now. Okay. And you can use uh, more than 70 availability zones are there right now. So availability zones are part of what regions. Each region will be divided into at least two availability zones. For example, India is having three, Singapore having three availability zones. Now, if you go to USA, US is having six availability zones because there are a lot of people, lot of businesses are doing business with Amazon Web Services. Understanding or not? As per the demand, they are creating availability zones. Now, 1.5 year back in India, only two availability zones were there. So in India, every company, every IT organization right now migrating their business to AWS. So that is where they made it one more availability zone available for all the users who are from India. In the same way, from Hong Kong, they are seeing a lot of business, or from Middle Eastern companies, they are seeing a lot of business. That is why they've created a new region for them. Of course, if they're creating a new region, they have to add new availability zones or not. So that is why I told you these numbers are not static. These numbers are right now it is happening. So in future these numbers can change. Okay. If they see a lot of demand from one of the geographical location, they will create a region for them. Is this clear, all of you? Any questions? Any doubts? So right now, as a cloud engineer, you can take two decisions. You can give them first solution as India region, and the second second proposal is use availability zone to achieve high availability. Is this clear? No, nothing like that. Honor 99. I don't see your name here. So if it is in India, they will be deciding, you know, India. I mean region-based prices within the availability zone. There won't be any difference here. We don't know that, Nandan. Will we know that? Because we are not the owner of hardware, we cannot know where we are having those data centers. Is that clear, Nandan? But I'm saying India and India, right? So they are not calling India as India. Okay, they're calling it as, they have given India a different name. They're calling India as Mumbai. Understanding is, why they are calling India region as Mumbai, that is totally up to them. We cannot do anything else. Okay, they're calling it as Mumbai region. Okay, so these names, Mumbai is just a name. Now how they are identifying Mumbai region inside their algorithm, they are giving this naming convention, AP South 1. What do you mean by that? Asia Pacific South first region, which is India. Are you getting me? Now they are calling it as Mumbai. I don't know why they are calling it as Mumbai. This is their naming convention. Okay, friends. And each availability zone they are calling it as, I'm not writing the entire thing here. Let me write it. AP South first availability zone they are calling it as 1A. Second availability zone they are calling it as 1B. AP South 1B. Third availability zone they are calling it as AP South 1C. Are you seeing that, friends? All of you. So this is their naming convention. If I am writing AP South 1, you need to remember it is a region. If I am writing AP South 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D like that, they are availability zones. So these naming conventions are very, very important, friends. Okay, very important to understand. Clear? Now, if you are clear with this, let us go forward and let us discuss the next topic, which is very interesting. Let us see how many of you can answer this. So I'm writing something on the board, can you tell me what it is? Yes, guys. What do I mean by this? AP minus South minus 1. Which region, friends? All of you, Asia Pacific South region, meaning India or Mumbai region. Can I say that? Good. So let us say I have created a server in Mumbai region like this. So on top of this server, what I do is I have configured Flipkart.com website. Okay, I have configured Flipkart.com website in this India region. Okay, friends, all of you. Now let us take one guy's name here. Let us take Gopi Krishna's name. So Gopi, you are in your home. Okay, this is your home network, and you have your device or laptop, whatever. Okay, this is your laptop, and Gopi is in his home, Hyderabad. Okay, now tell me, on your laptop browser, if you are typing www.flipkart.com, everybody, this is very new, maybe new to you, but you have to understand this. So now tell me how this request is reaching to the server, how to get the response from now, from your laptop. Are understanding the scenario, guys, all of you? What we are doing here? Everybody are understanding the scenario here? You have created a server in India region and you have configured a website on that particular server and you are trying to access that server from your laptop. Okay, you're opening a browser in your laptop and you're typing www.flipkart.com. Now tell me how to connect, how this request will reach to the actual server where your server is running. Yeah. So first of all, here we have to understand from layman terminology. So if you want to access any server in network, definitely first of all you need to connect to internet or not from your home. Asano Srinu? First of all, you need to have internet connection, your internet service provider. Asano guys, everybody, can I say this? Yeah. So now what is happening here? See here, there's a dialogue is happening from your browser to your ISP. What is asking, what your browser is asking was my end user is giving me this question. Who is this guy? www.flipkart.com. Who is this flipkart.com? Now your browser is asking a question to your ISP, internet service provider. So internet service provider will see the request here. Okay, what is the request? Okay, it is ending with .com, isn't it? So this part is called as top level domain. How many of you know that? We will be having different top level domains, right? .com, .in, .sg, .us, .org, .net. Asano guys, do you know all of those things? .net, .in, .sg is for Singapore, .us for USA, .net, what is that? .org, yeah, NIC. Different top level domains will be there. Now your ISP will identify this top level domain and it will forward your request. Now what is happening? The second request is going to every country in every part of the globe. There will be one top level domain name server present. Who will be maintaining this? DNS will maintain this. So here, what is the top level domain you are identifying here? Yes, friends. Just a minute, friends. I'm getting a call. 1 minute, please. Okay. So then, what is our top level domain here? .com, isn't it? Guys, can you hear me properly, all of you? Yeah. So now all .com registrations will be there. Otherwise, all .com guys will be registered inside this top level domain, which is for .com. So now your dialog will change from ISP to TLD. Now ISP is asking the same question to TLD. Boss, I'm getting this question from my end user, and then I want to please check in your list of you know .com registrations. Do I have this name? So now your top level domain name server will check. Okay, fine. Let me check. Then he is looking for that particular www.flipkart.com, this request, and is finding that here. Okay, flipkart.com is available inside the list of .com domains. Okay, then what TLD will do? Again, he will be inspecting your request further, and he will see, okay, from where you are buying this domain name. So guys, one more question. Where you can buy the domain name? You need to go for a registrar, isn't it, guys? You know who's a registrar? From where you can buy the domain names? Anybody? Let us say you want to buy chandrakant.com. From where you can buy that domain name? Srinu.com. Yes, guys. Do you know from where you can buy the domain names or not? GoDaddy, have you heard about GoDaddy? Vendor who can sell domain names, isn't it? Big Rock, have you, I mean, Big Rock is there, Wix.com is there. There are a lot of vendors who will be selling the domain names. So those guys are called as registrars. Okay. So now TLD will identify the registrar and he will be forwarding your request to your registrar. What is your registrar name? Let us say GoDaddy. So now the request will reach to GoDaddy. Now from GoDaddy it will reach to your actual server. Then actual server will be sending the response back to your browser. Now whenever you are opening any website, in the background all these things will happen. Understanding or not, guys? Everybody. So now this is the process of giving a request and getting a response. Request response, isn't it? So now let us understand how much time we have taken for this request and response. Let us see. So this is the first, millisecond. This is second millisecond. This is third millisecond. This is fourth millisecond, and I'm getting my response in the 5 milliseconds, isn't it? So basically, latency will be calculated in what? In milliseconds. Okay. So The guy is in India and the server is also in India. Now, what is the latency here? 5 milliseconds. Everybody clear with this? Because server is in India and the request is coming from India itself. See here, Hyderabad. So, what is happening? The latency is 5 milliseconds here. Okay. Now, this is a web server, right, friends? If that is a web server, can I access that web server from any part of the globe or not? Let us say Chandrakant is right now in USA. Now, Chandrakant is right now in USA. This is USA region, and he may also participate in Flipkart Big Billion Day sales or not. He can buy, his, he can buy the products from USA or not. Everybody, can I access web server from anywhere or not? Is that clear? Everybody. So now tell me, how much time Chandrakant's, request will take. Now, where is your server? Your server is in India, and your request is coming from USA. So what will happen here? Now let us calculate. Now what is the procedure? Again, your browser will send it to your own ISP in your home network over there, isn't it? And then it will reach to the top level domain name, which is having in USA region, and it will send it to GoDaddy. Same way, isn't it? And where are you right now, friends? This GoDaddy server is in USA. Now, is there a direct connection between GoDaddy server, otherwise USA to India? Will you lay single network cable? Not possible, right? So this request will have to reach India region by jumping onto different network devices, routers, isn't it? Wide area networks, radio signals, because they are coming across the globe now. So it is jumping onto different network devices, and then finally it will reach to the India server. So all these things, all these jumps are from one network to other network. You are jumping on, your request is traveling through what? Your request is traveling through internet. Can I say that, all of you? And then your request, once the server is receiving the request, server has to send the response back to your server or not. Again, this is also will take some time, isn't it? So this is your request and this is your response. Now let us calculate the latency for Chandrakant's request. What is the latency here, friends? So let us calculate the latency. Obviously, it will be more than 25 to 30 milliseconds or not. Are you understanding that point, all of you? Can you agree with this? Obviously, it is going through a lot of different network, hops, and then it is getting the response back. Now, until that, what will happen to Chandrakant's, request? Chandrakant has to wait. Now, this user who is in USA has to wait longer period of time to even load his website, isn't it? Now, this user will be pissed off or not? Boss, whenever I'm opening Flipkart.com, it is taking forever to load. Let me take my business to Amazon.com. Will this happen? Just imagine you are having lot of users in USA. Yes or no? Let us say there are thousands of users are there for your business from this location, and everybody is facing the same latency problem. Are you getting me? So is it a problem or not? Now they are taking their business, because of this problem they are taking their business to a different e-commerce portal. So you are losing one business customer, isn't it? You are losing a potential customer here. Is it a business loss or not? Everybody, can you agree with this point, all of you? Are understanding the scenario here? Everybody needs to answer here. Say yes or no, friends, so that I can understand. Yeah. So if you think this is a problem, what is the solution? Question, all of you. If you think this is a problem, what is the solution? What can I do to avoid this problem? So now for that you need to remember this. Where is your actual server? Your server is running in India, isn't it? AP South one. And from where you are getting the request now? From USA, isn't it? So what is the solution? Anybody? I'm expecting an answer from you guys. Yes, guys. Yes. What is the solution? General solution. Which one will you know will come into your mind? Let us see. Isn't it? Navneet, is giving me this answer. What he's saying is, can we create one more Flipkart server in USA? Sir, not necessarily. I can create with the same domain. Why not? Can I create one more server in USA region or not? I'll open my AWS console and then I'll change my location to how many regions I can use? 20 regions. So I'll change my location to, USA region, and I can create exactly the way I'm creating, the same server I can create in USA also, isn't it? So if I'm creating a server in USA, GoDaddy will forward the request to USA server itself. Understanding? And of course, you have to make some configurations here. We can understand that later while we are doing the activity. Now, GoDaddy, instead of reaching the original server across the globe, by wasting a lot of time, and it won't be going there because you have one local machine in USA available. Now your request will be reaching here, and this particular server will be sending the response back to the server. So what will happen to the latency? It will become exactly same way like you are in India, isn't it? 5 milliseconds. Understanding or not? So your latency problem is gone or not? You were experiencing a lot of latencies. This problem is gone because of this solution. Your latency problem is gone. All your users are happy, isn't it? All your users from USA regions will be happy, isn't it? You rectified that problem, isn't it, guys? All of you, can you accept this as a solution? Everybody, guys, every day we are understanding a business problem, and we have to give a solution. So you need to be very good with the basics. That is where we are spending a lot of time here. So just imagine that you are a cloud engineer, you are giving a business solution to your client. Clear? So once I'm giving this, my client is very happy. Right now, one more thing. If you are having only one or two servers in India, let us say five servers are there, and I can create five servers in USA, there is no problem. But in India, for Flipkart business, otherwise for Flipkart application, we are maintaining 500 servers. How many? 500 servers. Now tell me, will you go ahead and create 500 more servers in USA? If you create 500 more servers in USA, will your client accept this? Maybe you are thinking, why I will be creating 500 servers? Because, depending on the requirement, you will be creating. Let us say you are creating 200 servers in USA, isn't it? So even if you are creating 200 servers in USA, your client will come back to you, boss. Again, your client will ask you about the cost, isn't it? Boss, I am asking you a solution and you are giving me a problem here, isn't it? Now I need to pay for 200 servers more. I need to maintain our entire setup in USA. Yes or no? I need to attach a team of people to that particular thing. So do you have anything else, or do you have any other solution for me to, reduce this problem? And to add our problem, now let us say our client is saying, I have a lot of business from, UK also. Should I create 200 servers over there again? Isn't it? Of course. Now let's see here. In India, I have my business. I'm running 500 servers, but from UK, I'm getting only 1 million requests per month. So at least 200 servers are needed. Example, not 500, only 200 I'm creating. Now my client is saying I have business in UK also, and I have business in Europe also. Understanding or not? And I have business from let us say Singapore also. So if your client is having business everywhere, every part of the globe, let us say Dubai also. Understanding or not? So according to this solution, you have to create 200 servers in UK, 200 servers in Europe, 200 servers in Singapore, 200 servers in Dubai. Let us take that. So it is going to be very costly affair, isn't it, friends? All of you. Can you agree with this point? So if you are giving this additional server creation, you know, solution to your client, definitely it is going to be a lot of cost. Everybody clear with this? Asanu Navneet, can you agree with this point? Based on your requirement only, I'm creating. I'm not creating 500 servers everywhere. I'm creating 200 only according to my load. Correct. So it is going to increase cost. Absolutely crazy cost will be increased. Now your client is coming back and I is saying I cannot afford to invest this much money. But can I, load my website without creating servers with these much, money, without creating physical, I mean, servers over there in the location or region? Can I do my, business, or can I load my web server pretty fast? For that, yes, there is a solution, but before understanding the solution, I want to, make some, few things clear here. Let us understand about the data that you are storing in website. Yes, guys, if you open any website, e-commerce portal or any website, what kind of data you will be seeing? Now that is very important for us to understand. Yes, guys. Take example of Flipkart.com only. The moment you open Flipkart.com website, what kind of data you will be seeing over there? Navneet, Manvita, and everybody else. Type of data you are seeing inside a e-commerce portal. Are you understanding my point, guys? All of you? Like what you are seeing, Harsha, that information. And guys, one uh, announcement here. If you are, let us say there is saying, from administration team, there is a message here. Can you see that message, friends, all of you? If you are enrolling for AWS batch, they are giving you free Linux administration course. Okay, you can avail that for free, and the course is starting from 27th of this month, 4 p.m. in evening. I mean 4 p.m. in the evening. Okay, 4 in the evening. Okay, guys, that is the just a announcement. Okay, come back to the class now. So Harsha is giving me one answer here: product information, product details, specifications. How you are seeing that information, Harsha? Let us say if you want to buy lot of images, isn't it? JPG images you will be seeing. Can I say that? How you are seeing products? With the help of images. Can I say that, guys? All of you, correct? And you will be seeing lot of images, lot of PDFs, meaning user agreements. Have you ever pressed on I agree button or not in any online website? So everybody will be seeing the same PDF, user level agreement or not. Lots of information. Yes, product description, text files, isn't it? Now, if you are buying anything from Flipkart, let us say that particular product will be having a video file, right? One little video will be there about that, particular. Yes or no? And then, of course, the video is playing. There will be an audio file for that video file, isn't it? Can I say that, all of you? And lot of HTML pages will be there in a website, correct? And lot of other things, you know like this we will be having lot of other, files. Now tell me, there is an observation here, everybody. So let us say Manvita is opening Mintra.com, I am opening Mintra.com for same product, let us say Levi's jeans or Levi's top or whatever. Are we both seeing the same image or not? Or will I see the different image and you will be seeing the different image? Everybody will see the same image or not? Is this image is changing for everyone? No, right? Absolutely same. PDF, user level agreements, that will also be same. Your text information, meaning your description of the product, that will be same. Everybody will see the same video file. Can you give me the answer here? I mean, example here: Netflix.com, YouTube.com, AmazonPrime.com, isn't it, guys? All that data, everybody will see the same data or not? Yes or no, friends? And MP3 files, Ghana.com, Saregamapa.com, isn't it? Everybody will listen to the same music. So this data, whatever on all HTML pages, if you are opening Flipkart.com, if I'm opening Flipkart.com, we can see the same exact web page. Can I say that, all of you? So the point here is this data which doesn't change is called as static data. Yes, guys, can I say that? Everybody, very important for us to understand now. What is that? Static data. Now, obviously, what is the other type of data you will be seeing? Dynamic data, isn't it? The data which does not change is called as static data, but the data which will be changing is called as dynamic data. Now, can you give me examples? What data will be changing? Let us say every user will be having a separate display pic, separate username, separate, isn't it? What do you call payment gateway information, isn't it? And availability. Let us say out of stock, we are getting a lot of out of stocks these days, right? Isn't it? So how many products are available? Let us say Gopi is buying a Spyker jeans, and when he was placing the order, there were two, items left, isn't it? Only two items left, and he has placed two orders. Then immediately this, two item left, it should become zero, right? No stock or, out of stock. It has to change this, isn't it? So whenever the data is changing, that is called as dynamic data. I hope everybody understand this. Now, if you take any website, 90% static data will be there, 10 to 20% only dynamic data will be there. Now, this is the ratio. If you go to any website, now this will be the thing. So up to 80 to 90% static data will be there, only 10% dynamic data will be there. Now, what I'm going to do is, as a solution, I don't want to create 200 servers in different regions, understanding or not. I don't want to create 200 servers in all these regions. So what I'm doing is, I'm going to cache. I'm going to enable a cache location. What do you mean by caching, all of you? Yes, guys. Yes, friends. What do you mean by caching here? Cache servers. Have you heard about this? So everybody is using a smartphone, right? Everybody using a smartphone. What is a cache? Location, otherwise cache memory in your smartphone. Everyone, isn't it? Manvita is saying data will be picked from cache instead of main data, isn't it? Correct. So in your mobile phone, your RAM is called as cache, isn't it? If you're opening lot of applications, if your RAM is higher, it will hold your applications, isn't it? Recently opened applications. Yes or no? But if you are trying to open the same application again, instead of it is going to hard drive and fetching the information, it will go to RAM and open the application very fast, isn't it? So if you have more RAM in your device will be more faster. Can I say that? Your OnePlus mobile phones and your Samsung mobile phones, some mobile phones are there with 12 GB of RAM, isn't it? Even my laptop is not having that much, RAM. Possible, right? In the same way, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to store all my static data, because this static data only I'm frequently utilizing, isn't it? So in your RAM also, your frequently utilized data will be there, right? So what I'm going to do is, the static data I'm storing in cache servers. Everybody, what is the data it is containing? Static data. Everybody, please understand what I'm saying. Very important. What I'm storing here? Static data. So the static data will include all my HTML pages or not? All my, files which are needed for serving my website or not? Everybody, HTML pages are there. Your all the data which is helping you to launch your website, everything will be there inside this static data. So what I'm doing, with the help of course, if you want to enable this cache locations wherever you are having your business, let us say where I'm having my business, guys, in UK, in Europe, in USA, in Singapore, and in Dubai. So now what I'll be doing is, I'll be going to a service called CloudFront. Okay, and I'll be enabling, see here, I'm not creating servers here, and I'm enabling cache locations. Okay, so who will be, configuring these servers? Who will be the owner of these servers? My CloudFront service, not you. You are not creating any EC2 instances here. You are not investing your money. You are just enabling that particular cache locations in these, regions. Then what you are doing? You are storing your static data. So once you're storing your static data, your website will be launched pretty quick for this local users. Now your local users will be getting faster responses. Understanding or not, guys? Because of this cache locations. So without spending lot of money on 200, hundreds of servers, by just enabling and storing my static data into those cache servers, all these users from different regions will be getting the response pretty quickly. Understanding or not? So latency problem is, gone. So without spending a lot of money, am I getting the latency problem, solved or not? All of you. So just don't worry about how to enable this CloudFront distribution, otherwise CloudFront service, and how to do it practically. So we have a separate class for this, and we will be understanding how to create it and how to set this up. We'll be doing that in activity. But what is the point here? Frequently utilized information I'm storing in the cache server. What is the concept here? Cache server. Why we are storing static data in cache server? To load my web server quickly for this user. Understanding or not? Which is inside this region. Are you getting my point? So like this, you can go to CloudFront, you can enable cache servers wherever you want for your business. Now I'm enabling cache locations in Europe. I'm enabling cache locations in USA. I'm enabling in Singapore. I'm enabling in Dubai. So then what will happen? All these users from these different regions won't be, you know, traveling through the network, and they don't have to reach the origin server or original server always. They can get their web server served from the local cache server. Is this clear, friends, all of you? So how to implement this? Don't worry about it right now. But what is the concept here? By using a cache location, you are reducing your latency and you can load your web server a lot quicker, and you are decreasing the load, isn't it, on your origin server. The lifetime of this server will be high, right? Because previously every request is hitting the same server. This server is very loaded always. But right now, because of these cache servers, all these millions of requests are not coming and hitting your server. They are going to the nearest cache locations. Everybody clear with this? Say yes or no, friends. So have you used one more example I'm giving you very quickly? Have you used YouTube back in 2006, or some days, in those days? Anybody is from this era like me? Have you used YouTube from 2006? In those days it used to buffer like anything, right? Crazily buffering. Why? Because in those days YouTube servers were in USA. Understanding or not? Are you getting my point? YouTube servers are in USA. So then what will happen? Each time, let us say this is Srikanth from India. Each time Srikanth is trying to open youtube.com, he has to travel across the globe through the network, and then he has to get the video downloaded to his browser. And sufficient, whenever the sufficient information is downloaded, then only it will be playing. Otherwise it will be buffering. You've seen that? Son of friends. So right now, absolutely there is no problem like that, isn't it? The moment you say play, it is playing, isn't it? So they are maintaining, absolutely they are maintaining cache servers. Every business is maintaining cache servers. One more classic example, Hotstar application. Son of friends, are you watching cricket Hotstar right now, IPL? Son of us. That is again, they are using this cache server technology. Are you getting my point, guys? So this cache server technology is used everywhere, in every business, every IT organization, every IT company will use it. But we were software engineers previously, right? We don't know that. Right now you are becoming a platform engineer, platform specialist. Then you need to understand how business is happening. Is this clear, friends, all of you? So now for today's class, we understood very important features of AWS. Now first feature or component we understood is region. Second feature, what is that? Availability zone within the region. And then third feature we understood is cache servers. So AWS is going to give a separate name for everything, right? They are calling cache servers as edge locations. What is that? Edge locations. So we have 20 regions across the globe to use, and we have 70 plus availability zones right now, and we have 100 plus edge locations are possible in AWS. Are you getting me, point? All of you? So if you're thinking about some business, first of all, as a cloud engineer, you must know these three components. Now that is why, that is when you can, you'll be able to, create your infrastructure among all these things, on top of all these things, isn't it? So together, these three things together is called as AWS Global Infrastructure. So all these, okay guys, all these terminologies are very important, guys, because in the certification examination they'll be using these terminologies only. They won't be using direct names at all. What is a region, what is an availability zone? They will not ask you that. They will give you a scenario, and that scenario you have to understand to answer that question. Okay. So any questions in this? Regions, availability zones, and cache locations. Any questions? Yes, guys, all of you. So if you have any questions, please ask. Don't park your questions to your head. Okay, guys. Anybody's having any questions here? Now let me call out the names. Asus, I don't know your name. Asus. Chandrakant, is there any question from your end? Gopi, Harita, Harsha, and Honor. Kiran, Nabakishore. Any questions, please? Nandan, Naveen, Navneet, Pavan, Ram, and Manvita. Satish. Satish is very silent today. Srinivas, Srinu, Venkat, and what is his name? Why Red? Okay. Anybody's having any questions? Is the concept is clear or not, guys? Now I'll be giving. I'm type of person. I'll be giving importance to the concepts. Basics are very important in my view. If you understand the basics well, you can create your instances, or you can create your resources very easily. Top level domain name. Okay. So remember this. Let us say, can you buy flipkart.com again with the same domain name? Yes, Asus. What is your name? Can I buy this again? So definitely not, right? So nobody should buy the domain name again twice, isn't it? That is why they have to maintain these domain names everywhere. So that is why top level domain names are in place, and then these top level domain names will be maintaining all these domain names at every part of the globe, so that nobody can duplicate the domain names. Is that clear? Is that clear? Jesus, what is your name, friend? Yes, buddy, what is your name? Naveen is asking about data storage. Naveen, that is a separate case. Okay. In which region will that store? In every region, every part of the globe, in every country, you can say. There must be a top level domain name server. It has to maintain your requests, isn't it? It has to maintain your domain names. What replicas you are asking about? Naveen, can you rephrase your question, please? Data you're talking about in a server, that is totally up to us. Wherever you want to store your data, let us say there's a virtual machine with you. Can you store your data wherever you want or not? You can create your virtual machine. If you're creating a virtual machine in India, your data will be stored in India only. Understanding or not? But if you want to copy the data to some other region, you can do that. Okay. So we have a concept called EBS. Okay. Understanding or not? You have a concept called EBS. Inside that, we'll understand that question. Okay. North India. Okay, fine. Let us say your server is in North India, Naveen. So definitely what will happen, your data will be there along with your server only. Understanding or not? Your data you're storing in server on North India only. Understanding or not? Limitation. If your server is in South India, data will be. Now if you, in case of any disaster, who has to maintain the data in a different region? As a customer, we have to maintain, isn't it, Naveen? So we need to write one policy, and we will understand all those things in this service. EBS, elastic block storage, we'll understand that. That is correct, Harsha. That is absolutely correct. If any disaster, it is on us, Naveen. AWS will not do anything. They will be giving you infrastructure. What you want to do with that infrastructure, that is totally up to you. Is that clear, Naveen? We have to maintain our data. So how to maintain our data, how to migrate our data, how to backup our data, how to restore our data, all those things we'll be understanding in EBS service, Elastic Block Store service. No worries about it. Since you asked, I'm trying to explain. So if you're confusing, don't worry about it. We'll understand that in the classroom. Okay, friends. Fairly good amount of questions. Any other questions, friends? Anybody's having any other questions here? Anyone? So these three terminologies are very, very important, guys. So if you remember yesterday's class and today's class, I'm pretty much sure that you can answer 2 to 5 questions in certification examination. So total 65 questions will be there, guys, in the certification examination. So With this yesterday's and today's topic, you should be able to answer at least 2 to 5 questions. So what is the point here? Every class is important. All these theory classes are as important as the technical, I mean activity classes. Don't think about activity. We can create a server in 2 minutes. This is not important. What options I'm selecting to create this server is important. Definitely, Sri Vidya. So Mr. Nababu will be helping you with that. If you have missed yesterday's class, obviously you'll be getting this, yesterday class link. Okay. Nababu Garu, if you are there in the classroom, please share the yesterday's links to, this person, Sri Vidya, Sri Divya, sorry, Sri Divya. You'll be getting that link, Sri Divya. Okay. We don't have to create Harsha. We are just enabling with the help of one service called CloudFront. And everything else it will take care. You just have to enable and you have to pay the money. Okay. Only for your data that you're storing. Yes, yes. Regions, availability zones, and edge locations. Instead of cache, remember edge location, because we are AWS engineers, isn't it? So we need to remember these three terminologies: regions, availability zones, and edge locations. Clear? So that's it for today's class. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you in tomorrow's class. Have a nice day. See you tomorrow, guys. Bye bye.